from the CyberHub bunker and studio. You're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Happy Thursday, everyone. May 27th, 2021. James Azar here. I hope you're ready for a magnificent end of the week show for the Practitioner Brief. In over a year, it's the first time I do a show completely away from all of you. From my studio, from where I'm used to being. And I'm now adjusted. It took me a little while, but I'm adjusted. I'm ready to go. So I'm very, very excited. Good morning to James McQuiggan, buddy. Good to talk to you again. Good to see you again. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to Matt Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Practitioner Brief this morning. We've got a lot of great things to talk about today, including the Japanese government agency suffering a data breach after the Fujitsu hack. A PDF feature that's certified is widely vulnerable. Siemens addresses code execution vulnerabilities. Big changes to 1Password in the biometric space we'll discuss. And a fake human rights organizations launching cyber attacks against the Uyghur Muslims in China and Pakistan. We'll look at that as well. On today's show, we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you for everyone tuning in and watching us live. Please make sure to subscribe, comment, say good morning. Good morning to Roger as well. Folks, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. If you're listening on your favorite podcast listening platform after the fact, please make sure to subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. That helps push us up in the rating. If you have not subscribed to the CyberHub podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform, please do so now. Every subscription helps us out a ton as well. Top of the morning to you as well, Mr. David Hurley. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, folks. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at KnowBe4, Wistic, and Ativo Networks, so make sure to check them out as well. It's 4:04 p.m. here in Israel, but it's 9:04 on the East Coast, 6:04 on the West Coast, and somewhere in the middle, it's either 7:04 or 8:04, which means you got to enjoy a cup of coffee with me. And for those who don't know, I'm an espresso addict. And so this is number 4 for the day. And I'm super excited about this one. I made it myself. I've got an espresso machine in my apartment here because Lord knows if I didn't, I'd be like not functioning. So cheers. And yes, I'm addicted to coffee. All right. So I know I'm going to get someone that says, James, you're addicted to coffee. You should really look for help. I don't want to. I enjoy my coffee addiction. Please don't try to change me. Let's get right into the Fujitsu breach here. So offices of multiple Japanese agencies were breached via Project Web information sharing tool. Fujitsu states that the attackers gained unauthorized access to the project that used the Project Web and stole some customer data. It's unclear whether this was a vulnerability exploit or a targeted supply chain attack. The investigation is ongoing. Attackers got a hold of at least 76,000 email addresses. Yesterday, the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism and the National Cybersecurity Center of Japan announced that the attackers were able to obtain inside information via Fujitsu's information sharing tool. Fujitsu also said that the attackers had gained unauthorized access to projects that used Project Web and stolen proprietary data. Fujitsu Project Webs enables companies and organizations to exchange information internally with project managers and stakeholders. By gaining unauthorized access to government systems via Project Web, attackers were able to obtain at least 76,000 emails and proprietary information, including the email system settings, as confirmed by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism in Japan. The tool, which is widespread, is used on 7,800 projects, according to Fujitsu, and is widely used by multiple organizations within Japan. Some of this stuff could include also Narita International Airport, which was impacted as well since they were able to steer air traffic control data, flight schedules, and business operations. Fujitsu has suspended the Project Web online portal for now, and investigation is ongoing. Although there's no clear attribution at the moment, one can only assume the severity of this specific breach and the supply chain. This morning on the other side of cyber, we talked about reporting and how important reporting In Australia, they want to make it so that you have to report a cybersecurity incident. Well, here we go, folks. You report it, and if you report it all to one body or you run a project through one central body, you're just creating an easier target for the attackers as well. Alan joins us and says, good morning, all. Good morning, Alan. Thank you for joining us this morning on LinkedIn. Let's talk about our next story, courtesy of ThreadPost, where a PDF feature that claims to be certified is widely vulnerable to attack. The certified portable document format that's used to secure signed agreements between two parties while keeping the content integrity protected is not as secure, and some applications find it inadequate or leaving organizations exposed to a number of attacks. The researchers from the Roar University explained that certified PDFs use two specific signatures to authenticate a document: an approved signature and a certification signature. Certification signatures are the more flexible and made to handle complicated agreements between multiple parties and allow some changes to the document within a set parameters while maintaining its validity. Unsurprisingly, certified signatures are where the team found vulnerabilities to two specific novel attacks that they dubbed evil annotations and sneaky signature. Both allow an attacker to overlay malicious content on top of the certified information without showing any sign it was altered at all. In only 2 cases, we could not find a vulnerability. 15 viewers were vulnerable to EAA, 8 to SSA, including Adobe, Foxit, and LibreOffice. The report said we additionally analyzed the standard compliant implementation of PDF certification applications and found 11 issues in them. For example, a high-level JavaScript can call an arbitrary URL without user confirmation to de-anonymize a user. Our research reveals that such code is also executed if it's added as an allowed incremental update. We are the first to reveal that this behavior allows attackers to directly embed malicious code into a certified document. So let's talk about the risk, impact, and mitigation of this one specific challenge here. Morning to Adam. Good morning to Andrew. So this PDF specific vulnerability is available and can hurt your organization if you're not employing safe attachments on Microsoft Exchange, or if you're not using any sort of CDR product on some of these documents. Now, the challenge is if this is put on a DocuSign and downloaded directly into your environment through a web link, then there's little to do from control unless you're having your EDR scan it every document that's being downloaded on the web, or opening it into a virtual machine to see what it does as well. That's the other option on this one. So keep your eyes out for it. Look at implementing it. You can read more about it on ThreadPost, and the links are all right there. Siemens addresses code execution vulnerabilities that are found in the popular CAD library. On Tuesday, Siemens released an advisory to inform customers about several high-severity vulnerabilities affecting its Solid Edge product. The flaws are introduced by fourth-party software that is also used by many other organizations. The vulnerabilities discovered last year by security researchers Andre Michalese, who had identified many vulnerabilities in industrial control systems over the past years. The security holes were reported through Trend Micro's Zero-Day Initiative and the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Solid Edge is a product development solution that includes tools for 3D design, simulation, manufacturing, and design management. Michalese discovered that the product is affected by 5 vulnerabilities, including 4 high-severity memory corruption issues that allow remote code execution, and 1 medium-severity XXE bug that can lead to information disclosure. The vulnerabilities can be exploited by tricking the targeted user into processing malicious CAD part, 3D XML, SDP, PRT, or JT files. While to date it appears that only Siemens, Keyshot, and CISO have released advisories for these vulnerabilities, CrossCAD and Ware is used by many other products, and they could all be vulnerable. On its website, France-based DataKit, which specializes in CAD data exchange solution, says it collaborates as an OEM with more than 100 vendors, including many in North America and the APAC region. If you're in this here, folks, there's a few workarounds. This has not been patched yet, so you want to keep an eye out for it. This could have significant downstream impact. And so keep your eyes out for it, gang. Workarounds are available through CISA, so check it out. Make sure you implement it if you're in the industrial control system space. I want to go to two stories before we end today, though. I want to let you know, yesterday, new CISO Talk podcast that I dropped. If you have not subscribed to the CISO Talk podcast, please go do so now. Ken Foster, Sam Phillips from Wells Fargo, Paul Farley from NCR, and Gautam Vyas from FIS in a live panel with people, with questions, with all the good stuff. It's a great podcast to listen to. It was a great open, frank discussion that we had at an event last month in Georgia, all in person. So you should go check it out. Definitely a great podcast to listen to. We talked about a lot of different things, so go check it out. Tomorrow, we're dropping a brand new Tech Corner as well, so make sure you check that out as well. And Monday is Memorial Day. And so the Practitioner Brief will be dedicated to all veterans. We will be sharing veteran stories I'll be sharing 2 stories of brave veterans, brave people who paid the ultimate sacrifice on Monday. So we won't be doing a traditional practitioner brief. We'll be talking about the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and our nation. And we'll be talking about them. So I hope you'll tune in to that. I'm also be doing a 22 push-up challenge. I'll be posting it on here. So if you're up for it, please ping me and join it. And I'll be doing it on the beach with hopefully a few Navy buddies that'll be here in Israel with me as well. So let's move on to our next story. Big changes to 1Password in the browser as it adds biometric unlocking. 1Password is now trying to give people new support for Touch ID in Windows Hello biometric authentication. 2 things about this. I don't mind the Touch ID on Mac because I know it stays only on my computer. It doesn't go anywhere. All it's doing is it's just verifying the data against the biometric that's saved on the device. Same thing with the Windows Hello biometric authentication. Great little convenient feature. As long as that data stays on your own devices and the biometric data doesn't leave this environment, all is good. The moment people start asking for your biometric data to sit somewhere, I'd be asking some questions there, folks. So keep your eye out for this change and consider it if you want to. I'm not a big biometric fan. I just don't know. That's one thing I can't change. I can change a password every single day, but I can't change my biometrics ever. And finally, a UN branding is used to target Uyghur Muslims in an ongoing cyber attack. Not enough that this group is being persecuted in China. It is now coming to the attention that, according to Kaspersky, that the campaign is likely to be the work of a Chinese-speaking threat actor and is focused on Uyghurs, a Turkic ethnic minority found in Xinjiang, China. Potential victims are sent phishing documents branded with UN Human Rights Council logo, named Uyghur application list. The document contains decoy material relating to discussion of a human rights violation. However, if the victim enables editing and opening the file of EBA macro code, then checks the PC's architecture and downloads either a 32 or 64 payload dubbed officeupdate.exe. The file is a shellcode that fetches and loads a remote payload, but at the time of analysis, the IP was unusable. However, the domains linked to the malicious email attachment expanded the investigation further to malicious website used for malware delivery under the guise of fake human rights organizations. The Turkic Cultural and Heritage Foundation, TCAHF domain, claims to work for Turkic culture and human rights, but the copy has been stolen from OpenSocietyFoundation.org, a legitimate civil rights outfit. The website directs Uyghurs seeking funding, tries to lure visitors into downloading a security scanner prior to filing the information required to apply for a grant. However, the software is actually a backdoor. The website offered a macOS or Windows version, but only the link to the latter downloaded the malware. 2 versions of the backdoor were found: Web Assistant, that was served in May of 2020, and TCAHF Update, which was loaded from October. The backdoors establish persistence on victim systems, conduct cyber espionage, and data theft, and could be used to execute additional payloads. Both domains redirected to the website of a Malaysian government body called the Tiranago Islamic Foundation. This suggests that the attackers are pursuing additional targets in countries such as Malaysia and Turkey, where there is a majority Muslim population who's trying to assist the Uyghur Muslims in their battle for freedom and human rights in China. So just more malicious activity against human rights. That's it for us here, folks, today for the Practitioner Brief. We end this week on a high note. Really thanking you all for tuning in yesterday to the Tech Town Square, a very, very special Tech Town Square yesterday. I had some of you on stage with us, and it's great. And I'd love to get some feedback if you enjoyed that format for next week as well. Again, Monday is Memorial Day. So it's not a day for barbecues. It's not a day for celebration. Please don't say Happy Memorial Day. It's a day where families who've lost their loved ones in war are remembering those people. It's a very, very painful day for many. And I would urge you to please go visit a veteran cemetery. If you know a Gold Star family, just, go and just thank them for the sacrifice their loved ones made for our nation. It's a day where we all remember some of the men and women that put on the uniform, went to battle, and made it and didn't make it home to their families. And so I did the Veteran November series out of the idea of bringing awareness to veterans. And I wanted to do something similar for May. However, in light of Veterans Day, I'll be sharing on Monday 2 stories of 2 brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, and I will be honoring them on our show. We won't be talking cyber. It's okay. The news aren't going to go anywhere. They'll still be there on Tuesday, but on Monday we are going to remember the people who made the ultimate sacrifice. We're going to thank their families who have carried the burden day in and day out while we moved on with our lives. They still have a void that needs to be filled. So take a moment to reflect and remember those people. And in a time of great division and in a time of so much ability to disagree, let's take this one day and put politics aside and put everything else aside and just remember the brave men and women who came from all backgrounds, religions, genders, races, and all of that, and decided to fight for the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes, our nation, and lost their lives in battle defending our country. That's it for us here, folks. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Make sure to subscribe. Most importantly, guys, stay cyber safe. Cheers.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.